All right, Dale. Guys, it's Troy,
And Dale from Hard Rock Rewind.
and welcome to our first live show. We're going to be starting to do a live show where we rewind each week the latest heavy music news, Dale. Man, I'm really excited to start doing this. Tonight basically is just basically a test run to see how this thing all works. And dude, we've got a couple of things that we're going to be chatting about tonight. Of note.
We're going to break some eggs, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we're certainly going to break eggs tonight,
eggs.
dude.
There'll be omelets made. It's fine.
There will be. Dude, two massive stories that I've searched through this week. The main one is pretty massive news. Youngblood has been ordered to take some time off. We're going to get to that. And also Motley Crue has announced a huge North American tour with Tesla and Extreme. Let's just go firstly to Youngblood. So I'll give you a bit of a rundown, and then we'll get into it. So Youngblood has to cancel the rest of his 2025 tour dates, including shows in the US, Mexico, Latin America, after doctors advised him to take a break due to health concerns, specifically for vocal cord strain. Some of the reasons potentially for the cancellation: doctors ordered the break after recent health check revealed some vocal cord strain and some other issues concerning blood tests. The cancellations include the remaining shows in the US, Mexico, and Latin America. His Australian tour in 2026 will proceed as scheduled. I'm not sure when that is, but man, a dude of his caliber, especially when he's just, he's been on the MTV Awards with Aerosmith, the Music Video Awards, I think it was. He's just broken into America. Huge things were happening, and then to have the brakes pulled on him, man, at this moment in time, absolutely huge.
Yeah, he just broke into America and not in a minor way. It was a massive way. He's kind of kicked the doors in there. So much so that I think he's, the most recent North American tour that did quite well. But I think there was maybe one show left of that when they announced the follow-up North American tour to take place in 2026, which literally, I think all dates sold out in, the first day, or just something ludicrous at larger venues and so forth. So, and look, I mean, if you kind of backtrack a little bit, since Idols came out, which is his most recent album, but since that came out, and you had the first couple of singles, and then Zombie came out, and then obviously he did, changes back to the beginning at Villa Park and so forth. It's just been non-stop. And you see some of his videos that he posts online, and he's flying from this state to this state, and he's just kind of it seems like he's burning the candle at both ends. And look, I'm not surprised that takes a toll on somebody. And he just seems like he's not the type of person to shy away from giving everything to the audience and so forth. So he's probably, it's probably, day in, day out having to perform at that level, coupled with the amount of interviews and so forth that he's doing. Like, his voice is constantly getting used. So I would just find that, I would find that would be, pretty taxing on somebody. So look, I'm personally not surprised at all that this has happened, but hopefully it doesn't kind of bench him for too long, because there's so much on the horizon. Obviously, you mentioned the Australian tours coming up. There's a 2026 North American tour that's sold out. He's been nominated for, I think, 3 Grammys and potential Grammy performance on the cards that may be in jeopardy. Who knows? So, there's a lot. There's a lot going on, man. Like, what are your thoughts? I mean, you're a vocalist. How hard is it to back up day after day after day after day, performing like an hour and a half set every single night at that level?
Yeah, dude, I reckon it'd be pretty full on. Like, when I do gigs, I might do 3 or 4 on the weekend. They're 3 hours, but so they're a bit more, but still, when that's just me, acoustic guitar. I'm not playing with a full band with, in-ears and whatnot, where you're going balls out for maybe an hour and a half, maybe every second night or every third night, plus the travel, waking up early. It's interesting, man. When it's funny because, as you said, he's been flat out since Idols. I mean, the dude has been just like soaring in the last, I guess, anyone like me who really wasn't across him since people probably in my camp that basically noticed him properly at Ozzy's farewell show. Since then, man, dude, he is just like he's been on everything. He's literally been on everything. And I think when you're signed, which I'm assuming he's signed to probably a major, they're wanting to capitalize on that, and they're probably trying to book as much out of him as they possibly can. And you are only human. And yeah, dude, as you said, I'm surprised he hasn't because the thing is, when you're at that level, you want to ride that wave, but at the same time, you have to be mindful of how much you can book these guys in advance, because you don't want a case where he just does so much and then they're like, dude, your voice is cooked, man. You got to like sit out for 6 months at least.
Yeah.
Or he gets overworked and he's just like, I'm mentally cooked. Like, I need to take a year off. And so rather than maybe pushing it incrementally, you've gone way too hard, and then it's all of a sudden it's hit the brakes, and then all that momentum potentially could be lost because he has to sit out for a while. We don't really know how long he's going to be sitting out for. Plus, he's, Aerosmith has just dropped their EP with him attached as well, which is a banger. So they're probably wanting to do maybe some promo for that, maybe some shows. Who knows, man? So I don't know if that's going to affect, that EP promo and whatnot. Who knows?
Yeah, look, there was some stuff, some conjecture I saw online where people were saying that it was a strategic move because of the Aerosmith EP was coming out, and they need to free up time for him to kind of focus on the promotion and of that. And I wouldn't think that that's the case, because he seems like the type of person that if he can do both, he would do both. And I don't necessarily think that that's the case. But obviously, the EP dropping. I don't know if it's good timing or bad timing. I think it came out 3 or 4 days ago, that 5-track EP. And man, look, for all intents and purposes, I mean, you've had a listen to it. What's it sound like? I personally haven't heard it yet. I've only heard the one song on it.
I really like it, man. I really dig it. Like, there's some great. It's very much reminiscent of the main track. What was it? The Angel one. Sorry, I forget the title. That we did a reaction on it.
My Only Angel.
My Only Angel, sorry.
Yeah.
Very, very reminiscent of that sort of vibe, like that nostalgic 90s sort of vibe.
Yeah.
What I really like about Aerosmith and what they've done with this EP, really simple chord progressions. Like I forget the titles of the song. I think there's one that's revisited at the end. I think it could be an old Aerosmith. You might even look it up as we're doing it. But just simple chord progressions like D, C, G, but really leaving enough room to create some really amazing melodies over the top. It's not a whole bunch going on where it's too busy musically and there's not enough room for the melodies. It's really cool, man. I really dug it. Yeah, it was really, really cool. And his range on it, man, was amazing, Youngbloods.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So that's something that I want to listen to. I mean, I guess the thing I would be listening out for would be how Steven Tyler's voice is holding up. The first new music in over 12 years. That is insane. So it's like, I mean, what have you been doing for 12 years? Like you're a musician who puts out music and you put out albums, and but like 12 years, like that's a huge amount of time to not put any music out. But so the here it is. I mean, they're the tracks: My Only Angel, Problems, Wild Woman, 1,000 Days, and Back in the Saddle. The 2025 mix. I mean, it's coming out in 2025, so I don't know what other mix there would be, but maybe they did it last year. I don't know. But look, that's something that I'm super pumped to have a listen to as well. Just haven't gotten around to it. But look, I mean, I dare say he's not tanking his tours just to promote the EP. But again, you see
not a
stuff
sold out
online.
US tour.
Oh, look, I mean, I don't think that tour is getting postponed at all. Like, I don't think that's up in the air. I think it was just kind of remaining dates of this one.
Okay, right. Sorry, yeah.
I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't think that US tour is getting postponed. Like, that would be brutal. That would be absolutely brutal for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Funny story. Like, I was watching a podcast with him, and he was talking about because obviously he got nominated for 3 Grammys. I think it was for Idols, so for the album. It was also for best live rock performance, I think, with Changes. And
Yeah.
it was for his single Zombie as well. And he was telling a story that, because he's kind of from, kind of like Northern England. And,
Yeah.
like when he found out, he called his mum, to let her know. And she really didn't know it was breaking up. She didn't really understand what was going on. He said that no one there really knows what the Grammys are, but they said that, like he's probably going to get a couple of those statue things. And it was just that, it was just the delivery of it, that it's, it seems like the world that he comes from is pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty just kind of basic, down to earth, and I don't really
Yeah.
get too into
collar.
that type of stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it was just a funny story to hear. Yeah, look, hopefully everything's right to go and good to go. If there is a Grammys performance on the card, hopefully, yeah, like it'd be good to see some type of a rock presence at the Grammys, because, dude, I can't remember the last time like an actual rock act has performed at the Grammys, right?
You know what, man? To be straight up, I haven't even watched the Grammys for a long time. To be honest.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, just like, yeah, it just seems. I don't know. I don't know how much weight it really. I know it's an industry peer sort of thing voted, but yeah, I haven't really seen anyone of note in the rock metal sort of fraternity. That's. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. They probably have, but I haven't seen anything that's really notable of any notable sort of performances at the Grammy in that sort of genre of music. No.
Now, the other thing I'm curious about, and I haven't looked into it because it literally just hit me, but so he is nominated for a Grammy for his live performance of Changes at Back to the Beginning. Are the other guys by proxy nominated for a Grammy as well because they equally performed with him? So, for example, Nuno, Sleep Tokens
Frank
too,
Bello.
are those guys like is it a posthumous thing, like they get a Grammy by association, or how does that work? I'm completely in the dark with that, but I don't know. It seems kind of rough to overlook those dudes. He's gonna win it too, dude. He's actually he's gonna win it, and I just really hope that he thanks the individual members of that band. Because they were equally killing it as well. Yes, his vocal performance was great, and there was a presence there, and it literally, I think that's the performance that's the most memorable from that night. They were as much a part of that as him. So I'd just be curious to see. I don't know how these things work. So if anybody knows, let us know, because I clearly have no idea how that works. But I would think a live performance is indicative of all the people who performed live on that track. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, let's move into our next story. So Motley Crue, I'll just bring it up while we're chatting about it. So Motley Crue have announced a 2026 tour, North American tour, celebrating the Carnival of Sins live tour, which I think came out in like 2005. So here we go. 20th anniversary. Here we go. Motley Crue announces massive 2026 North American tour celebrating 20th anniversary Carnival of Sins live show and tour. They're also bringing out Tesla and Extreme. As we mentioned prior to this show, very interesting to see. Like, I don't mind some Tesla, but very interesting to see that they're sort of built above Extreme. That's quite interesting. You probably got some strong thoughts on that one, but yeah, man, a lot, big. I mean, there's some massive dates, and interesting enough, like dates. I know they had their residency at Vegas, and they had to cancel a bunch, and then it came out that apparently Vince Neil had a stroke and basically had to relearn to do a bunch of things. I'm not sure exactly what he had to do. But yeah, man, this is going to be a massive tour, and I don't know, mixed response, I think, for this. It'd be interesting to see if they can, I really hope for Motley Crue. I really hope that they can do it justice, because, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Tesla, but I'm familiar with some of their songs and that, and I've seen what they're doing over the last couple of years online and stuff. They're still playing at a reasonable bar. Extreme, obviously, are pretty much no different to when they were playing around in 89 or 90. So, man, they've set the bar for themselves to make sure that they're still on the game for sure.
Yeah, man. I remember there was a period in my life where that Rio that Rio concert of Extreme. I think it was like 90.
Oh, yeah, it was Skid Row,
like
yeah.
maybe 91, 92. Yes, that kind of Skid Row in Rio. That
Yeah.
was like my Bible. Like I would watch that. Oh man, like I'd probably get halfway through it in the morning. I'd finish it by the evening, and then it would get the rotation again the next day, right? Yeah, and they're still killing it. They still sound really, really good. They're still as true to the recordings as they can be, but they still bring a lot of energy to the live performance. Man, to our point that we said before about not knowing whether the other members of the band would get a Grammy if indeed Youngblood does win for best live performance at Villa Park. One, I'd be super bummed if Nuno doesn't get a Grammy for that. I'm also super bummed that, man, they're not billed higher. Nothing against Tesla, like not trying to be negative, but Nuno in, what was it, 2023, kind of dropped, they dropped Rise, and it was a massive, it was a massive swell for Nuno as a guitar player through that period. Like he's just kind of, I want to say he kind of took the torch from Eddie, because obviously no one can do that. But he came out with a guitar solo that I think people were just kind of, they needed somebody to come along who looked like a guitar player, who looked like a rock guitar player, who could actually rip a passage of music on the guitar where people stopped and were like, holy shit, like what is he actually doing? Like, what is that? And that kind of relaunched him as, one of the mainstay, guitar players of our generation, right? So for him to do that, for him to be potentially, linked to Grammy nominations, for the band to be as hot as they are in terms of their ability to still perform, absolutely baffling to me why they're not billed higher. I don't know. If anyone's got some insight into that, let me know about that as well. I don't have a lot of answers. I've got a lot of questions. So, let me know about that, because, for me, and again, being a massive Nuno fan, there's a bit of bias there, but dude, it's Nuno Bettencourt. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, man, one would argue that like that Rise solo practically I know they released, Extreme had released, I think, 1 or 2 singles, I don't know, off that album, maybe prior or something. But that solo basically put Extreme back on the map again, really. Like, if that solo, I mean, they had put some new music out, but that really, like, that made people aware, like, oh, yeah, Extreme are back again. Like, he's still blazing away on some tracks. Do you know what I mean? Like, that really, they put one, maybe 1 or 2 after that out, and they went okay. But like that was the song and the solo that really put him back on the map again.
100%.
But even recently, man, I mean, dude, you see them on. I saw them, when they showed that footage a while ago, when he first played that on that rock cruise. Man, Gary Sharon, man, he's still singing like he still literally sounds like it's 92. You know what I mean? Like the guy's voice is I don't know what age he is, but he still sounds phenomenal.
Got to be close to 60, right?
He'd have to be. He'd have to be.
Yeah. I mean, Paul Geary's looking a bit different, but.
Well, I don't. No. Yeah, true. Maybe because that's not him.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, you hear that Pat Badger still, man, their 3-part harmonies, like, phenomenal. Like, it's wild. So,
I tagged you in that Colour Me Blind video from...
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, dude, like that would have been late 91, maybe early 92 or whatever it was. And they're playing Colour Me Blind. And I think that was prior to them having recorded that, because you can tell because the guitar solo is different. So like they're kind of trying to feel it out a little bit. Dude, they performed that live and I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
I'm curious to see whether or not, I think Motley Crue may have dropped a new song a while ago, but I considering that they started out a few years ago this huge stadium tour with Def Leppard, and it's and then Poison, and then it was maybe two years ago or so, and then it's put them back in the stratosphere again, and it's continued on. They've done some big shows. It'd be great to. Obviously, they're still playing their hits and they're just going to tour and play the stuff. But like, it would be, for the amount of touring they're doing, it would be interesting to see if they're actually going to put out even just an EP of some new music. Considering they've had John Five as a guitarist for a couple of years now. It'd be interesting to see if they're actually going to drop some new music, at least an EP. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, no doubt it's going to have some pyros and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But nothing against Motley Crue, man. I used to love Motley Crue, still love them. But I mean, I can't say too much for Tesla because I haven't seen them a great deal recently. But they've set the bar high, because if Extreme are on first, man, they're going to set it. They're going to set it real high. I remember how we used to start. We used to play gigs, and whether we play first or you man, or a band would play before you, and like, all right, they were pretty good, man. We're gonna match that or
We're
get
up our game,
on top of that straight away. Otherwise, it's done. So yeah, it'd be very, very interesting to see.
Dude, I would not like to be the guitar player that goes on after me, because you're gonna have all the guitar heads in the crowd, right? You're gonna have all the guitar. I mean, obviously John Five's a sick guitar player. Oh, just stop it! Like, he's ridiculous. Dude, the backstage area would be insane, seeing the warm-ups and seeing what's going on back there. But
absolutely,
yeah. Look, there are going to be a lot of guitar heads in that audience. I would say it's going to be fairly light on the on the opposite sex. I think those crowds are going to be very male guitar head dominated. So just curious. I mean, obviously you mentioned that they may put out an EP or perhaps they should do something like that. So let's say they do. Let's say Motley Crue do put out a 5-song EP, or they do put out some kind of a new album. Is that something that you would be interested in listening to? Anyway,
look, man, I'd be curious, but I will say, and this is nothing against Motley Crue. Like, I had listened to the Aerosmith one, right? I really liked it. Was there really much of Joe Perry's kind of guitar work to sort of make it Aerosmith? Not as much, if you know what I mean. It was Steven Tyler was more so the heavy sort of one on that to make it sound like Aerosmith. I kind of just feel like
you're saying Joe is tagging along.
Yeah, well, it's like Mick Mars was the sound of
Joe, get over here, Joe.
Yeah.
And Joe just wanders in, plays some stuff.
Well, I think Mick Mars, man, was such, he was the sound of Motley Crue. I mean, Vince Neil and Mick Mars, they were the sound. Like, you could tell, he's like Slash in his own way. You could tell a Mick Mars riff or solo as soon as you heard it. You know that's Mick Mars is playing, right? And he come up with all those, he come up with Dr. Feelgood riffs. Girls. He come up with those guitar parts.
All that stuff,
He come up with those, you know what I mean? So
Wild Side.
John Five, no doubt it would be heavy and that, but is it going to be Motley Crue? Like Motley Crue? Probably not. I'd be curious just to have a listen, but it may be just released as because hey, we've got a new guitarist, we're going to put some new stuff out, but I don't know. Yeah, probably, to be honest, I'll listen out of curiosity. Would I be probably, unless it's going to blow my socks off, man, I probably wouldn't be going on repeat a bunch of times, I don't think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Who knows? They might not even do it.
Look, if they do it, hats off to them. Good luck to them. I hope. They're doing what they love. They're still able to make a living off it. People are still going to the shows, buying tickets, buying merch, doing all that stuff, listening to whatever music they're putting out. So, yeah, man, if people are happy spending money, people have adult money and they can do what they want with it. And man, some people just absolute diehard fans. I would consider myself a diehard fan of certain bands, bands from when I was younger, growing up listening to. I would say I was a diehard fan. But I'm at that age now where I think I can separate myself a little bit from the nostalgia of that thing I remember versus what I'm seeing and hearing now. I struggle with some of the older bands that are still kicking around. Personally, and that's, again, it's not a knock on them, but it's just me and how I've changed and how I've evolved. And yeah, man, look, hats off to anyone that's still doing it, that still love doing it. Keep doing it. But I don't know, things change.
Yeah, look, and I guess, look, man, as being a vocalist as well, it's the hardest probably gig out of the bunch to the expectations And I know, we've probably mentioned this before, but then, I think, well, you may be talking about a dude who's like 60 now, who's trying to recreate how he sounded when he was 24. You know what I mean? Like, like it might be different on guitar, but if you compare that to maybe an athlete, no one's going to be running. If you're a sprinter and you run, 9 seconds in 100 meters when you're 24, you're not going to be running 9 seconds when you're 60. You know what I mean? So you have
let me
to
put this
be
into perspective, right? So let me put this
That's
into
it.
So here's a story. This just like recent developments in my life. I'm sure people are gonna love this. So I play guitar. I'm a guitar player. Obviously,
A very
my
good one.
left hand. Thanks. My left hand does the bulk of the work, which is fine. This, and not to be rude, but this middle finger just started turning purple the other day, like right around here and around here. And I was like, that's really weird. And it got very tight and sore. So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on there. Over the course of the day and in through the next day, the purpleness went away until I turned my finger over and the purpleness had spread to this area. And I'm like, that's strange. That's very weird. Suffice it to say, I'm the age that I am now, as everyone can see. I'm not as young as I used to be, and things don't quite work the way they used to sometimes. And so, although I still have dexterity and stuff, it was just a weird moment that kind of brought me back to reality to think, man, like I may not be able to do that thing that I love forever the way that I had been able to do it. And it was a bit of a wake-up call that I'm like, man, I need to take care of myself. I need to look after myself a bit more. Still don't know what's going on with that or why it is the way it is. But yeah, man, like especially a vocalist, like you wreck this, like you're done. You are absolutely done. Everything that you've worked for, your career, everything that you perhaps love doing, the thing that you're passionate about is done. And that's super rough, man. I lose one finger, I could still play some power chords. I just feel like one of those 3-finger guitar players. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, dude.
I remember this quickly.
Don't get old.
Yeah. When we watched that. when man, this really puts it in perspective. It was really interesting how when I watched that Bon Jovi doco that was on Netflix, he summed up in this amazing way. He's like, all this touring, we've got all this. This is a multi-million-dollar business, and it's basically all riding on these 2 little vocal folds that I have in my throat. And I'm like, that is it. That's true. Those insane. 2 little things in his throat created this whole business, and this whole touring thing that he's doing. That they were doing at the time, and it all comes down to these 2 little muscles in his throat. And if they don't work, man, the whole thing's done. It's good night, I reckon. And it was like,
it's
wow,
rough.
That's crazy. I know.
It's rough, man.
It's rough. Anyway,
hey guys.
Well, go for it, man.
Hey, I was just gonna say, thanks for not jumping on and watching this. It's been awesome. Really appreciate the support. It's all good. No, look, I mean, this is something that we're going to continue to do, and we're going to, we're going to promote it a little bit more. We're going to put it out there a little bit more, and we're just dipping our toes in the water to see how it all works, what it feels like, what the back end looks like, and we're trying to figure out how to, the mechanics of everything and how to work it. And because we want it to be the best version of us that we put forward for these lives that we do. And yeah, like Troy said, they are literally, we're just going to go back over the last week and find a couple of really interesting things that have happened in music news. More so kind of rock and heavy music news. And and just have a chat about those. And it'd be awesome if you guys come along for the ride, jump on, have a chat. Definitely, man. I'm super psyched. This is going to be good. The next year is going to be awesome, guys.
No, absolutely. And guys, let us know if there's any music news that you think is worthy of, let us know in the comments. You can hit us up. Even we've got an email now if you've got any ideas. I think it's contact.hardrockrewind@gmail.com. And look, to be honest, Dale and I, we want to get that. We're trying different things. We want to grow this channel. We've got some big plans next year. And ultimately, we really just want to get to you guys and be in touch with you guys as much as we can, really. I mean, this is like the whole point. I mean, we love doing it, but it's amazing to see comments we've had on our reaction videos. We've had people, enjoyed what we've done, and interact with you guys. You know, we've got some big plans to maybe do some certain interactive reviews and reactions next year. We want to do more of this. We might even get people, hopefully, maybe jumping onto these lives at the same time. Like, I don't know, but we really just want to try and get, you know, interact with you guys as much as we can and have you guys on board with us, because that's, you know, that's what it's all about, guys. So yeah, with that being
100%.
said, thank you so much. Yeah. If you guys have watched this.
Hey, look, if you want to hear more about other parts of my body that don't work so well, I'll
consider subscribing.
Yeah, like we'll chat about those. Like I'm sure there's going to be something else that breaks on me. You know, I'm fragile as hell these days. So, you know, stay tuned for that. That's almost worth the price of admission right there.
With that being said, yes, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.
See you guys.